Hello friends. So you're an SAP ABAP developer and you want your own ABAP installation on your laptop or your PC. So today we will be installing SAP ABAP Application Server NetWeaver version 7.54 with HANA-DB on your laptop or a desktop. With this, you will be able to practice ABAP programming model for SAP Fiori. You can get started with ABAP RESTful application programming model. Along with that, you'll also be able to see what are the new features in ATC and the new capabilities of ABAP as a language in NetWeaver 7.54 and a lot more. Before we proceed further, please make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that you will also be able to see what all tutorials I put in the future. Let's get started. So to install the SAP ABAP Platform 1909 with HANA database, we will follow this blog by Julie Plummer. So this blog was released recently, I think on 15th of February. So it is pretty new. So I'm putting the link of this blog in the description below for your reference. So when you install this, everything is kind of pre-configured and you will directly be able to run your ABAP platform and practice your ABAP or learn ABAP and practice all the different scenarios with HANA database on your own, on your personal computer. So let's get started. So first for this, we need to install the Docker Hub. And for installing Docker Hub, there are some prerequisites which we need to set in Windows. So let's take a look at them. Let's start by looking at all the links which are given in this blog. So the first one is the Docker Hub link from where you can download the ABAP Platform Developer Edition. And we will need a login to this particular website. So I have already created my account and I think you can also create it for free. So I'm just signing in. So as you can see, I've signed in and now over here I can see the setup instructions. In the setup instructions, they have very carefully given us what are the requirements on the hardware level initially. So if you are using Linux, it's 4 CPUs, that is 4 cores or 4 threads and 16 GB of RAM, 150 GB of hard disk. For Windows, it's again the same, but the hard disk requirement is a bit more and it's same for Mac OS. So since we are using Windows, I will be using more than 16 GB of RAM and 170 GB of hard disk, which I already have. So for your information, I am using a 12 core 24 thread CPU with 64 GB of RAM in my desktop. So I don't think I should face any issues. So before we start doing these things, we need to install the Docker Hub. So let's get started on that. So here, as you can see, we can download the Docker Hub for Windows. So you just click on this, you get the installation file. So you click on keep, run it in administrator mode. Click on OK. Also, with your own ABAP system, you will be able to develop your own codes, try out new stuff, and you can always do some funky things which you will not be able to do on the client systems. So as you can see, the installation is complete and it is asking for a PC restart. So let's restart the computer. Before we start running and pulling the Docker image, we have to make sure that the Windows is ready to handle that image. And for this purpose, we have this link. So in this link, we have some manual steps which need to perform on Windows so that you enable WSL2, that is Windows subsystem for Linux, and WSL2 is the latest version which we will be using because it has all good features. You can read about them more in the link which I have provided, and we have to do these manual steps. So the first one is to copy this command, run PowerShell as administrator, paste this command and hit enter. Then it will do some things. Then the next step is the build has to be higher, blah, blah, blah. I think we are okay with that. So now the machine has restarted and I have again opened all the relevant links. So now this step 2 is done. Now I'm going to step 3. Again, it is asking me to run this command in PowerShell. So I will do it in admin mode, and it ran successfully. Then it is asking me to download this package and run it. So it's a 14 MB file. So I've already done that as well. Now I'm setting the WSL version to 2. So for this, I'll copy this command and put it in PowerShell, enter, and it didn't give any error message, so it worked. So basically I've gone to Microsoft Store, search for OpenSUSE here, or any Linux distro is fine. I'm using OpenSUSE Leap 15.2, and then click on install. Since I've already installed, it is directly asking me to launch. So once this is done, then I'll see the icon here in the start menu, and I can directly run OpenSUSE. So it is asking me to set up the Linux system, which I think is needed for the Docker. So I have to click on next, in that, enter, yeah, accept the license agreement. Yes, it is asking me to for a new username. So it has to be KRNTJ, password. And I think it will create the Linux system for me. So yeah, this is done. And this opens the Linux terminal. So I'll just close it for now. Apart from this, it is saying, okay, so we have already done the creation of the user account on the Linux. Installation of Windows terminal is optional, so we don't need that. And we already, now in PowerShell, it is asking us to run these commands. So I'll just run this. Okay. And once you get the version from here, you have to run this command with the distro and the version number. So I'll copy this. Version 1, enter. Conversion in progress. This may take a few minutes. The distribution is already the requested version. Okay, so I think this is fine now. Then again, it is asking, so to set it to 2, we did it again. Now, I think all these steps are done. And now we can again start with the Docker part. So I'll just close this link, but first I will save this link for your reference in the file. Yep. And now let's start the Docker. So yeah. So normally if you go to the Docker and this is running, it's green, we are logged in. So now let's pull the file basically. So we have to go to PowerShell and go to the link, copy this. Now it is downloading the file. So let's wait for it to complete. As you can see now, the extraction is complete, and now we can proceed further. Before we proceed further and we start the Docker container, we have to make sure that we rename the host name. So that is nothing but our PC name. So for that, we will need a small system restart. So I will show you how to do it. So let's close this. And the host name is supposed to be, it's mentioned over, yeah, this one. vhcala for HCI. So for this we have to go to settings. In settings you have to go to system. In system you have to go to name of this computer. Where can I find that? About. Okay, rename this PC. Here I can put the host name which I want. Next. And now it is asking for a restart, which I'll have to do it right now. So now the computer has restarted. Now let us check the host name by typing host name in PowerShell, and we can see that the host name which we set was visible here, is visible here. Now let's proceed. Now we will run the Docker container since we have already extracted it. So to run it, we have to use this command. Okay, and I will add a few more ports here. This is from my previous installation experience. And we have to add two more commands towards the end. One of them is agree to SAP license. Okay, so this is something wrong. So that we don't have to accept the SAP license manually. And we have to, since the HANA DB needs a lot of resources, we have to skip the resource check basically, because we will always have less resources than what will be available on the servers. So, and then we run. And now, as we can see, we've got the message HDB is starting. So that is the HANA database is starting. This will take roughly some 5 to 10 minutes as per my system configuration. The time will vary according to your config. That is the hardware. Now in the messages, you can see once the HDB has started, the HANA database has started, it updated the license. Once the license was updated, the ABAP license was also updated, and then the ABAP application server was started. So still the process is going on. And now let us check the task manager to see how much resources it is consuming. So as you can see, the CPU utilization is around 20% for me, and the memory utilization is 57 GB out of 64. So initially it will try to consume as much memory as much is available to it, and then this will obviously come down. Okay, now the system has started and it is saying have fun. So now let's try and connect to the system. So if we check at the memory allocation, it's saying it's 57 GB is used, but since we are using WSL2, it dynamically allocates the RAM. So it's not necessarily all the time it will not be used. So now we have to run the SAP GUI, and in SAP GUI we have to configure the server details. So now this is the latest version of SAP GUI 7.7. So I'll just create a new entry, user specified system. Let us get this description from here. System ID is, I think it's mentioned over here in this blog again. So the system ID is 00. No, it's A4H. The instance number is 00, and the application server is localhost. So I click on next, finish. Now when I double click on this, voila, I am able to connect to my SAP application server. So the username over here is developer, and the password Let me check my caps lock first. Caps lock is off. Yes, now I have logged in. So now if you go into the system details status, you will be able to see the system details. So this is mm, the release number, your host name. It is on Linux in the product version. If you see, you will be able to see SAP basis component is 7.54, ABAP is 75E, and there is SAP UI and other things. Now let us try logging into this from Eclipse. So I will run Eclipse, which I have already installed, and I've already installed the ABAP development tools for Eclipse as well. So from here, logging in is again very easy because the entries always got from the entry is similar to what we have here in the SAP GUI. So I will just click on create an ABAP project. In the ABAP perspective, select this entry, click on next, next, client 001, developer, EU5. Yes, and I'm successfully able to log in. So here I can do all my developments, create packages and so on and so forth. Now let's try adding the HANA DB system. So for that we need to go to HANA administration console. That is the perspective. So I'm not setting the password hence now. Now I have to give your host name of the HANA DB, which is nothing but localhost again. Instance number is 02, and this I came to know from the blog again. So yeah, here it is mentioned. Yeah, 02 MDC. So it's multiple system. And I click on system database description. System EB. Next. The username for this is system, and the password is same again. So it's LDEF552. So yes, we were able to connect to the system. And now if we click on the system, we will be able to see all the services and everything, what is running, what is the memory allocated, so on and so forth. Now this SAP start service doesn't run for some reason, but I don't think it impacts us in our ABAP developments. So maybe if you know how to solve this, you can let me know. Since I am an ABAP developer, I don't know much about this service. So I tried fixing it, but I was not able to fix it. But you can see all your catalog, content and stuff. Now let us see how to stop the system. So to stop the system, first we have to exit all the logons. So I exited the SAP GUI. Now I'm exiting from Eclipse as well. And then it is saying that you have to run this command in the PowerShell. We have to press Ctrl C here, and then once you get the prompt, then you have to paste this command here and press enter. And now the system will start stopping. And you'll all get all the messages. You can also check the status of the ABAP for HANA server along with the HANA DB if it is running, the container is running in the Docker desktop. So here it is showing it is running, and you can also stop it from here. But it's always better to do it from the PowerShell. So we have already run the command and we are waiting for it to stop. So next time when we want to start, we just have to run this command docker start -ai a4h, and the whole system will be up and running. So as we can see, we got this message A4H, and the status of over here in the container in Docker has also stopped. So now everything is closed. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any doubts or if you face any issues which I have not mentioned, you can always write to me and I will try to solve them for you. And subscribe to my channel so that you'll get to see other videos and tutorials which I'll be putting up on this exact server in the future. So set up your own system so that we can learn new things together. Thank you.